There's a Bible verse that talks about guarding your heart, and that's something that a lot of us who are abuse survivors not only were trained to do the opposite, but until we can truly heal and recover from everything that had happened to us as children, we tend to repeat the cycle of abuse and of drawing in people who are indelicate with our heart. And anybody who's gone through trauma, whether it's childhood abuse and they have CPTSD like I do now, or regular PTSD from something traumatic happening to them, or a single incident like a traumatic brain injury or chronic illness, if you're spoonie and you're suffering from something long term, possibly for life, there's a way in which this admonition from Scripture has particular urgency for people like us. So today, I had a really emotional moment when I got brain fog, and a lot of people, they're familiar with this. So a lot of us who suffer from some kind of chronic condition or illness, we will get brain fog. And with me specifically having a traumatic brain injury, a lot of my resources go towards trying to keep my system stable. It's things that normies take for granted take a huge amount of energy. And so right now I've just been in pain since last night. I'm having an IBS flare up. There's this one chronic person out there's this one person in the chronic illy community who's like, don't use the words flare up. That just sounds so violent. And it's like, well, it is violent. It's pretty freaking violent. When you have an IBS flare up, for those of you who unfortunately know, and those of you who fortunately don't know, it's horrible. You cannot get away. Your insides are eating their way out of you with rusty spoons. I mean, that's kind of how I usually describe my period. Your uterus clawing out of you using a blunt metal object. So that can be the IBS pain. And the worst part is the pain keeps you from sleeping. So, I had to take some medication, which I hate doing, but I'm lucky that there is some. It took a year and doctors giving me all sorts of antacids that just made things worse. When in fact, there is actually an antispasmodic that helps with the crampy abdominal pain. Literally, the ER doctor wrote that on my prescription, crampy abdominal pain. It was really cute. He was awesome. Big props to ER guy. But, when you're in pain, you don't really sleep. And when you don't sleep, your symptoms can get worse. It's like this vicious cycle. And, the gift that you never wanted that continuously keeps giving. I love it. That's what all abuse and trauma is, isn't it? And, I had this brain fog moment where, all my resources are going towards managing my pain and, just keeping me alive. I'm not really able to eat a lot right now because my stomach still really hurts, but I'm starving and I'm also hypoglycemic. So I have to eat. So this is kind of this horrible equation. I mean, there's nothing good to say about this. Being a spoonie sucks. It effing sucks, okay? It really does. There's nothing good about it. Nothing. Yeah, I don't even want to hear about the silver lining. Oh, Sophia, you can help other people. No, I don't want to have to help other people because that means you're suffering too. And I feel bad for you because now we all just suffer. So let's all just hate life together. Really? Is this what life is about, God? This is my conversation with God most days. It's kind of a lot like, F you, God. Thanks so much for this body that is causing me pain. And that's the reality for the spoonie life. It's like you can check out my Instagram story. I hate that bullshit of like, oh, you need to have a positive attitude. You know what, bitch? A positive attitude isn't going to get rid of my chronic condition. I still have a traumatic brain injury. Guess what? My positive attitude didn't change that. So it's a lot of times people will say things that are not only unhelpful, but they're hurtful. They're straight up hurtful. So if you're one of those assholes who like say that shit, you need to stop it. You need to stop, because not only are you not being helpful, but you're actually being extremely cruel and insensitive and not compassionate. You have no idea what it's like to live like this, and you're not being compassionate. So there's my PSA for the spoonie community. Everybody else needs to stop saying that stupid stuff. And for those of us who are fellow sufferers, I'm very sorry. This is terrible. When I had that brain fog and I couldn't remember how to do a simple mechanical task. My brain just didn't work. And I was on the phone with my friends, fellow spoonies, Kimberly and Jorge, who are just amazing. You can go on my Instagram story and get their links there. And oh my gosh, they met me with so much loving kindness and patience. And they were like, Jorge immediately was like, it's okay. You're okay. Describe to me what you need to do, and we're going to walk you through it. Oh my God. It was like no drama, no pity, no babying. It was just very plain, simple, loving kindness in a way that I have never seen in my life. I've been crying for an hour over it. I'm still crying as I'm recording this freaking podcast, because I think the hardest thing about my TBI recovery is how cruel people have been and how little compassion human beings in this society have, and just how impatient everyone is with me. It's when somebody shows me kindness that I realize how little kindness I have received, because it hurts. The kindness really hurts. It hurts all the wounded, tender, sore spots on me. So that's what happened today. This is just a regular day in the life of someone who has a traumatic brain injury. Some days I'm on the beach celebrating International Women's Day and having such a wonderful time, and I'm able to do one of those beautiful dancer jumps that I'm famous for. A ballet teacher once told me, I knew you'd be a good jumper. Look at your calves. Some days I've got it, and some days I feel great, and I'm able to climb a few rocks and not lose my balance, and other days I'm in pain and I feel alone and I'm crying and my dog is eating my snot, and I've got these two angels who are like walking me through a simple mechanical task. That's life. Some days are better, some days are worse. So be kind to a spoonie today. That's all I'm asking for. Love you guys. Thank you for listening. This is the Sophia Chang Show.